it's Lisa from budgetequestrian.com, and today I'm going to show you how to build a roll top for a horse jump. I built this roll top for the Great Plains Pony Club in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and I hope they really enjoy it. This is probably one of the more difficult pieces that I've built. Building a roll top isn't for the faint at heart. It does take a lot of time and a little bit of skill, but it's not hard and you can do it. The first thing you're going to do is take a piece of plywood and you're going to make those pie shapes. The easiest way to do it is to take a piece of tape or string and tie a marker onto the end of it. Then you're going to put your finger at the corner of the plywood and you're just going to hold on to the end and just trace the part of a circle. It'll give you a pretty even pie piece, which will make the end of your roll top. And probably one of the hardest parts is maneuvering the plywood. And to build this and to do these pie pieces for the ends, you're going to need one sheet of plywood, and it makes it the easiest if you use the ends of the plywood. So the next thing you're going to do is secure the plywood onto a sturdy surface, and I actually have a clamp that I'm using to hold the plywood in place, and then using a jigsaw you're going to cut out the pie shape. And if you want to make sure that it's perfect, and it's pretty important that it is perfect, you can take one of your previous cut pie pieces and trace around it just to make it sure that it's perfect. Because I don't know if you can see, but on that end I had to change it a little bit so you can kind of see my edges on there. That's why I really want to make sure it's perfect, because I only want to have to cut it once and not waste plywood. So those are the four pieces. Those are going to be the ends. The next part, you're going to take 2x4s and you're going to cut the length that you want each box to be. So this roll top comes in two sections, and the 2x4s that I'm using, I'm cutting to 55 inches long. And you'll need 6 2x4s in order to do this. You're going to need 3 pieces for each roll top section. And again, this roll top that I'm building, it's 10 feet long overall length, or pretty darn close to it. So hopefully that helps. The next thing you're going to do is assemble the roll top. And it helps to have something that you can hold the plywood ends up when you're getting ready to start this. So I actually used some landscaping timbers, held the two ends up while I'm attaching the 2x4s. So you're going to attach a 2x4 to the front, then you're going to attach a 2x4 to the back, and then you're also going to attach a 2x4 to the top back part of your roll top. And I used 3-inch long screws when I was doing this to make sure that it was secure. And it's a little tricky, but it really is worth it in the end. I'm also using a clamp to help keep the 2x4 in place when I'm screwing in the other side of it. It just makes it a little bit easier to keep it sturdy and stable. After you've got the 2x4 pieces all on, then you're going to put on the roll top, the actual roll top of this jump filler. And for this, I used 1x4 inch wood, and I'm cutting it to 58 inches long. So it's just under 5 foot long. And you will need to make this, I used 8 of the 1x4 pieces of wood on each section of the roll top, so it ended up being 16 pieces of 1x4 inch lumber. Once you get them all cut out, then you can start attaching them. And I'm using a nail gun again because it makes it a lot easier, and I didn't want to split the plywood, but I also wanted to have strength on the roll top itself. So I'm using Gorilla Glue, and I'm running the Gorilla Glue down the plywood before I'm attaching each individual 1x4 piece of wood. And it's really important to make sure you have the nail gun lined up so that you don't come through either the inside or the outside of the roll top. And it isn't too difficult, you just have to really watch where your nail gun is lining up. And again, I used 8 pieces of the 1x4 inch wood. You can have spaces in it, that's okay, that's not a big deal, because you're going to be covering it. But if you wanted to leave it plain, you could. I would just probably put the 1x4 inch wood, butt them up next to each other so that it's going to have a solid appearance. So this is just a close-up showing you what I'm doing, where I have the glue on, and then I'm going to attach the 1x4 with the nail gun. And I did about 3 nails per board on each side. And then I completely let it dry before I touched it because I really wanted to make sure that there was some extra strength with the glue and the nails. After you have given your roll top time to dry, then you can sand everything down. And when I was sanding it, I was really focusing mainly on the edges, just in case the edges were going to show through underneath the carpet, and I wanted to make sure that they were pretty. And after you get everything sanded and you're happy with how that looks, then you can primer paint it. And like always, I'm using Kills 2 primer. It's a latex based primer. It's good for interior and exterior use. So you can use it inside, outside, it doesn't matter. It's going to seal the wood and keep it pretty. And if you want, you can leave it just primer white, or you can use another coat of paint on top of it, depending on what color you want the roll top to be, at least the pieces you're going to see. But I would highly recommend doing the painting before you go on to the next step of where you're going to put the carpeting on, because you don't want to be painting once the carpeting has been put on. So the next step, and this is probably one of the most important steps, is you're going to attach the carpet to the roll top. And for this carpet, I went to Home Depot and I bought indoor, outdoor carpet that looks like grass. The carpeting comes in 12-foot long sections. So when I went into Home Depot, I was like trying to figure out how much carpeting I would need, and I couldn't figure it out. So I just said, I need, the 12-foot long, but I need it to be 5-foot wide. And it actually ended up being perfect. It was just enough carpet to cover the roll top. So when I was covering the roll top, it's important to make sure that it's really secured well. So I used screws, and I also used staples. When you're getting the staples, you want to get the longer staples. Don't get like the 1/4 inch or 3/16 inch. If you can get 1 inch long staples, that's going to be better, because that's going to secure the carpet down better. When you get to putting the carpet down on the sides, it helps to kind of score the carpet on the edges, because that will help make it easier and you won't get ridges and bubbles in the carpeting. I am stapling away, and it was a lot of stapling to make sure that this was secured down. And then I also took a little bit of the Gorilla Glue and I put it on the ends of the carpet because I didn't want it to fray at all. Once you have the carpet all secured down on your roll top, the next thing you really should consider doing is adding some handles, because these can be so big and so bulky. There's not really any way that you can move one unless you have it like 4 foot long, then you could probably move it. But with these, the overall length of each one is just about 5 foot long, so it's really challenging to move it. And this is the finished product. A beautiful roll top that I made for the Great Plains Pony Club of Cheyenne, Wyoming. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you again.